Well, oh, I'm not screen sharing at all. I thought I was doing that. That is my bad. Uh, I'll wait just a little bit longer until see if more people join. Uh, mm. um, wow, a minute is a lot longer than I thought. Uh, I guess I could start a little bit right now, since there's a few people here. I guess I'll only really be going over the basics at first. So I'll be just going over basics for a little bit, and then we'll go into a little bit more of the environment that I was planning. So when you open up Blender, you're gonna get a well, I guess I could show straight off a new file. Okay, I guess it didn't do it. You're gonna get like a little prompt window. You could just click out off to the side, and then you'll get this basic environment right here. Generally, you would just delete the whole section right here and do it later, but right now I'm just gonna keep it on there just so, because there's some examples I want to show. So first, to move around the space that's given, it is middle mouse button, or if you're on a trackpad, you can do it on a trackpad. It's a little bit more trickier, but it should be 2 fingers on the trackpad, and you'll be able to kind of look around. Scroll in and out is to zoom in and out. Shift middle mouse will physically move you around the space, while just middle mouse is kind of looking around the space. And I don't think I'm missing any other simple movement stuff, but it can get a little tricky to get used to. If you hit, there's multiple ways to go into edit mode. You could go up to the top left and go to edit mode, and you'll be brought up with, well, this. You could select each dot individually and go to this cursor here to move around different joints or different points of the object. Control Z still works, and Control Shift Z. Up top here, you'll have different selection tools. So right now, this third one, if you're on a keyboard, you can hit 1, 2, or 3. Specifically not the number pad, but the number keys up top, and you'll be able to edit different faces of an object. Or on the side, or number 2 would be specific sides of an object. So this is helpful for if you want to make specific shapes, manipulating the object in a specific way that you'd like. A very helpful keybind I like to use is Control R, as it adds in a loop cut, where you could add extra points to make shapes a little bit more interesting, I guess I would say. Trying to think. On the right side, you have some basic and not so basic tools. So this first tab disappeared. That maybe, okay, yeah. So the first tab that's automatically on is this object properties, which you're able to physically change like location of an object, rotation, scale, and be able to input more like finer details where you want specific objects. You don't really need to worry about a lot of the stuff down here. It gets a little bit more advanced stuff that I haven't. Yeah, there's a chat. I haven't really messed with, so you don't really need to worry about that. Just this transform section. This wrench is a modifier. This is another helpful one, as you're able to add something like a subdivide surface, which will inherently smooth out an object, but also make it a little bit easier to work with sometimes, depending on what you're trying to do. You're also able to add stuff like physics. I haven't done much physics stuff, but that should, in theory, if you use it correctly, you could make cloth simulation. For some reason, cannot remove. Well, that works. I guess another keybind you should know is X is to basically delete whatever you want. So if I want to delete this vertice, I hit X and then I delete the vertice, and that can end up with some interesting effects. Trying to think. Later on, you'll see me going into a shading tab, which basically helps prettify like the final outcome, make stuff look better. This is where you'll be adding textures and HDRIs, which is the kind of the environment around that enables lighting in Blender lighting, instead of adding something like a right here, which is, I guess, not right there because that's the wrong thing. This right here, this orb looking thing, is a light. There's different type of lights, cone lights, sun rays, stuff like that, where you're able to add additional lighting, which isn't always necessary. So most people just delete it right off the bat. Same with the camera, because you'll most likely be adding in a camera later on. If I didn't think of this. Okay. Sorry. If you have a numpad on the side of your keyboard like I do, you're able to go into different positions of Blender. Now, I realize not everyone has a numpad, so I'll try not to use these specific ones so much, but one that you should know is this one right here, which is the camera. On the numpad it's 0, or you just can click this one right here. This will allow you to frame out your shots for what you make. There won't be much camera work. There will be a bit of camera work, but not much, so you don't really need to get stressed out about it too much, hopefully. I believe none of those wants to show. That's fun. If you want to more, I can't remember, there was a keybind that allowed you to move the camera in space. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head for some reason. If you have it in a position that if you don't really like it, you could just select the camera and then go into the camera, and then you're able to physically kind of move the camera where you want it, change the rotation of how you want it, and you could change the focal length. And I usually like to add a depth of field, usually to my final renders, just to add a little bit more to it, but that's kind of for a different talk, I guess. Some things, if you are following along and you have Blender up, some things I recommend you enabling is if you go to Edit and Preferences, and go to add-ons and look up Node Wrangler. You want to enable this because that will help with some simplified texture mapping. So I would recommend having Node Wrangler up enabled. One that can help is Ant Landscape. This one you'll have to find if you search up even if you just search up landscape, won't necessarily come up. You don't technically need this add-on, but it is helpful with some landscaping situations. You can look it up on oh, I just realized I can't flip screens that easily. You can just look it up on Google and landscape, and then there will be a Blender forum to download it, and you just kind of install to the disk, and then there's got to be a way for me to do this now without making it more complicated for myself, I think. Anyways, you could look it up on Google and landscape. Not necessary for this. I try to make it so you don't have to use additional add-ons if you don't want. But I guess I could. All ant landscaping really is. I guess I'd also kept skipping stuff because this is my first time kind of fully having some set. I'm rambling. You could go up to here to add a mesh. Ant landscaping only really adds this, and where you kind of get a predetermined landscape, but I won't really be using that. One I do somewhat recommend that, but you don't have to use, is Gscatter, which you could also find on Google. It comes with a bunch of kind of pre-downloaded models for nature and foliage, basically what it is. And oh, there it is. It's not necessary, but it's under edits and preferences. Here you could find some add-ons, so like Node Wrangler is one that should come pre-installed. Otherwise you'd have to I just realized I don't know if it's not showing. Okay, that's interesting. It was not showing the oh, okay, hold on. Let me switch my screen share because I realized some stuff isn't going through that I thought it was. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna switch it to just desktop capture as I realize this is not working as I hoped. Okay, so you go to edit, and then that should hopefully be going through. Edit and then preferences here. You could get kind of the, as Wiz was saying, kind of the same like Unity where you could input some in-engine add-ons. If it's not pre-installed, you'd have to look it up on Google, and then I'm sure you could find the Node Wrangler add-on pretty easily. And then actually, because I did that, I can show this now. So this is Blender extensions. I'm sure like I said previously, if it's not there, you could look it up. Ant Landscape is one that I recommended, but I'm sure Node Wrangler is on here. The way I did it is you just do get add-on, and then I'd click download. Well, I clicked download, here, and then I dragged the file into a custom Blender folder I had and installed it off. When you're installing from disk, you hit install from disk, and then you find that the file you download, that's the extension, and then you're able to install it from there. I apologize if I'm kind of all over the place. If you have some questions, please put in the chat so I could answer, because I just kind of scatterbrained right now. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I do know I kind of did go over kind of the smaller stuff pretty fast, or like the intro stuff pretty fast. If you need me to clarify anything, just say something in the chat and I'll try to clarify a bit better. But I will be starting with kind of the environment building, I guess the best way to put it. Shouldn't need any extensions for this. I'll do kind of side by side with extensions without, just to show kind of how it works if you do want to later on get extensions, or at least the ones I'll be using. So first I'm going to be starting with, if you hit Shift A and create a plane, I'm going to hit S and just kind of make it as large as I kind of want to, I guess, make it. So this will be kind of our first area to build off of. So it shouldn't, from here, you want to hit tab to go into edit mode, right click, and just subdivide a few times. That should be good. So I did like maybe 10 times I subdivided this. And the reason for that is if you hit O, it'll enable kind of this proportional editing. And then, excuse me, you're able to pull when you pull a node, it kind of, you could see it kind of expand outwards where it affects the other ones. So if you grab onto it and then you just kind of scroll in and out, you're able to determine how big of an area of effect it will take. So with this larger one, I'll just kind of, you can kind of just play around with it to create a landscape that you want. So I will probably, I don't know I don't remember if there's a shortcut, but if you're in edit mode and you have the whole thing selected, if you just hit right click, it'll be the first option. Oh, why did that just open? What? So I don't know where. Okay, okay. So right now I'll be making kind of just the landscape-ish, just kind of pull it out to what I think looks good. You could do the same, make peaks, a little bit of valleys, you know, anything you really want. Doesn't have to be, I mean, there's no perfect. I don't know why I was gonna say it doesn't have to be perfect, but that's besides the point. So yeah, I think maybe a little bit down. That looks pretty good. So from here, I kind of have this wavy surface that I'll kind of start off from, and I need my documentation sheet. I forgot what I was gonna. Okay, so at this point, you pull multiple vertices at once. You could go up to this. Yeah, in edit mode, you hit O. Or you could go up to this little like bullseye dartboard looking symbol. Yeah, I'll go over the camera next. So this is kind of my foreground that I want to get the main shot at. So I'll put my free look view in a kind of a spot I want to angle a camera at. I'll hit Shift A. That wasn't right. You have to get out of edit mode first. Hit Shift A. I want my camera. It should spawn at the world origin. Then I hit Control Alt 0, which will kind of just put the camera where you're looking originally. And from here, I'm gonna change the focal length to 35 millimeters, just because that's the one I kind of like using. I'm going to kind of manually move this camera a little bit to get, oh, that's not right. To get an angle I want. There, that looks good. And then from here, I'm gonna try to texture the ground. So this is where wanting that node wrangler helps a lot. So after you kind of have everything set up, you have the landscape you kind of like, the camera placement. Even camera placement's not even necessary at this point. I just like to do it at the beginning. I'm going over into the shading tab at the top here. And yeah, I hit new. So what's okay, I sort of fibbed. There's no Blender extensions you'll need to download, but there are textures to download. If that happens, if your computer sounds like it's gonna explode, use less subdivide. So you might just have to delete the object completely just to give your computer a chance to breathe, but use a little bit less subdivisions. So from here, this is where Node Wrangler helps. Here you want to hit Control Shift T. This will bring up, well, I guess your downloads, but this will also help format like textures automatically. So my textures are saved. This drive. Put in here. So I downloaded this texture off of oh yeah, here. So I downloaded it off of Polyhaven. A lot of the stuff for like ground textures, stuff like that, I use Polyhaven a lot. A lot of this stuff is free. So I just download it, transfer to just a file where I had for my Blender. I will say having a separate file folder on your computer just for where you put stuff for Blender. So like I have a Blender file that has all kind of like my Blender saves, lighting, assets. It makes stuff a little bit easier to go through. But so yeah, when you download where is it? When you download a texture you like, I'm using this Coast Sand Rock 2. You can extract out of the folder, and then you'll end up with hopefully these 4 file extensions, you just hit it, you enter it in, and Node Wrangler will set all this up for you automatically. What I like to do here is actually, I don't know. You're able to I like to mess with the scaling just to make it look a little, I don't know why I tried that. Make it look a little more realistic, a little bit smaller. So if you notice, going between shading and layout, shading has so the which texture menu? Oh, at the very top there are just kind of little buttons here for layout, and then a few over is shading. Okay. If you have Node Wrangler installed, then I did the when you select Principal BSDF, Control Shift T. It brings kind of your folder systems up. And then that's where I kind of import the textures from there. I don't know if that's the part where you're confused on, or you know, if it works, it works. But yeah, so it's real quick. My screen's got all flipped. So we simple terrain. If you want to see kind of how it looks as it does in shading, on the top here you have different kind of world views of the objects. So this first one's kind of wireframe where you can kind of see through it. Second one's the default, which is completely solid. This one is viewport, so you'll be able to see what you have kind of in shading before any type of pre-rendering is done with lighting. Can't hear any. And then this last one is, so it looks completely black almost, just because this is where it adds kind of the HDRI, which is kind of world lighting, into effect, which this default one does not really give off much lighting. I would recommend keeping it at solid, just because keeping it at the higher ones will slowly fry your computer as you add more to it. Let's see. Oh yes. So oh god. If you download Geoscatter, if you want, or if you had already downloaded Geoscatter, the way it works, this is basically a very quality of life add-on that I found out today. Is you just select an object, so I selected this plane. You download assets off online. For the assets that I'll be using, I downloaded off the Gscatter site, just because it had a lot of foliage that I liked. Where I'm gonna be using some like models also a little bit later. I use SketchFab to find a lot of my models and just download it right off, just because sometimes it's a lot easier to do that than spend hours on trying to create your own. But there's a lot of resources online for free assets to get, which shouldn't be too bad, hopefully. But yeah, so Gscatter, you go to the assets here. So this is where I like it a lot because I could choose like broadleaf and then click this and then hit select scatter, and it will automatically do what I'm going to show you manually how to do. One problem about this is it gets very lag intensive and very rough on computer systems sometimes if you add too much to it. But I'm gonna add I'll add a little bit of this foliage for this one. But this next way will also kind of be a little heavy on the computer, but is a way to do it without extensions. Is when you select what you want to, so like the ground plane. I download some like grass models off the Scatter site, and I usually, well, I did keep my file system usually up while I use Blender because I can now where is it? Oh, well, no. These are grass I think I found off of SketchFab. And I will just take these, or I guess I'll take grass. I'll just drag and drop, import, and move the whole thing over just to have off to the side. And does this not have texture? No, it does. Okay. So when you download, so the way I'm going to show is basically what Gscatter did, but more manual. So if you have some sort of object you want to use, I'm going to use, again, grass. You select the land piece you want to kind of make grass particles in. You select the land, go to particles, go to the plus, and then switch to hair. So that will cause this kind of craziness to happen. If you scroll down to render, switch render as path to render as object, and go down to this instance object, and then just select just because I know that's multiple different meshes together, I'm going, you know what, I'm just gonna hope that's gonna work. I just used the eyedrop to select the model I wanted to add as kind of foliage. I'm gonna select object rotation because for some reason when you import it, it kind of goes sideways, and I have no clue why it does that. So I'm going to manually rotate it so it is facing upwards the best way I can. Best way possible. This is where I'd use this just because I can't see the texturing, but I would not keep it on always. Okay, that's fine. So when you have the rotation fixed and it's all standing, you could go back to the particle systems. You could change the seed, which will just kind of change the randomness of where they spawn. The number will obviously increase the amount. The length will do the size. In this case, I guess I'll put it to 10. I don't remember what segments does. So I'm not going to worry about it. You could do individual blades of grass. That would most likely crash a computer though, trying to render all the blades of grass, to be honest. Or I guess that's kind of what the hair does naturally. Or not naturally, but as a path object. I guess you could consider it as individual blades of grass. You could do it that way. I would not recommend it though. So I'm gonna, okay, maybe not increase the scale that much, but I'm gonna add some randomness, which will basically, you can see it, it's different size. It'll randomize the size of the object. And just to add some realism, I'm going to add in more grass just because layering is nice. Oh, not that one. I know I've had problems with that one. If okay, uh-oh. Okay, I almost crashed it. So that brings me into the importance of saving often, because Blender will not save for you. I have lost many of hours of work that way. I highly recommend save often. But particles, I'll just real quickly add another one. And then where'd it go? What? I managed to lose that somehow. And these are completely upside down. Oh. What is happening? What? So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why this keeps spinning. Or not spinning, but I don't know where the grass is. It's not. I'll just do the next best way to figure this out. I'll just scale it up and just. There we go. Oh. So that's a problem. Yeah, I'm gonna wreck on that idea. Anyways, I'll just move on. Because I'm... Just to move on, I guess. So I just opened Chrome. I'm just gonna move on to just placing in some other stuff. So I'm gonna throw in this Buddha. Open that. I'm gonna import this Buddha head because why not? And I'm not fully sure why I have it, but I do. And then I'm gonna arrange it where I think I'd want to see it. So what can help a lot is just with environmental stuff. What I found is finding kind of pre-made stuff you want to just make a quick collage out of, and kind of just framing it in ways where may kind of challenge the idea of perspective is, I guess, the best way I like to do it. So no kind of reason why a Buddha head is just sitting there, but it's kind of a collage of randomness. So like and then maybe a tree. Where's a tree? Old tree. Maybe something that can be helpful is Shift D, which is to duplicate, and that just allows me to just straight up duplicate an object. This will also duplicate any kind of parent-child relationship it may have with another object, which can cause some problems or help in the long run, depending on what you're trying to use it for. Yeah, so that's what I was about to get into next. So the skybox is what would be in this case be classified as an HDRI. So to do that, you'd want to go into your shading layout, go into the bottom workspace and switch to world. And from here, I once again downloaded I think I don't remember. Okay, so you could download a skybox off of or an HDRI off of Polyhaven. You could just search up free HDRIs for Blender, and that's what I did. I have a few free ones that I just labeled sky, and that wasn't what I labeled that for. So yeah, let me quickly find where I put my lighting. That's what I did. Okay, yeah, so from here, this will be the default skybox, which I don't even like it, to be honest. To change that, you would need to, so you could kind of just delete that one, keep the world output. You do Shift A, and then search. You want to look for environment texture. So here you connect that to the surface, and this is where you want to find the HDRI you would have downloaded. Did download? I could speak. And then you just open the HDRI image, and it will not fully connect yet, because you need a mapping node. So pull vector out and search for mapping. And then in this vector, you could just pull the node out, or click outside, do Shift A, and look up a texture coordinates, and it's this generated one. So hopefully that should work. Why it's not is confusing me. Oh no, it did. I just chose not a great image. So yeah, that is how you would change the skybox. In the render, it will kind of show this, the image's background. So with this mapping node, you're able to kind of change where the image is. So I'm gonna, so let's, I guess, so one, I could keep it with the HDRI background, which you could do. This doesn't look half bad. Another way is, what I like to do is kind of find somewhere that's kind of nice lighting. Go back to layout and spawn in, or put in a plane, and just scale it up, rotate it so it's facing the camera, and just kind of make it big. And I'm going to just square that off to make it a bit easier. So this is another way where I kind of like to make, how I like to make skies is to have the plane, go to shading, switch to object, and to have the, what you want selected, I guess. And from here, you can add in a color ramp. Where is it? Okay, that's not. There it is. Separate XYZ converter. I think it's that one. Might be why. Don't remember. And then another mapping and texture coordinate. So this, I believe. Okay. So from here, this is how I kind of like to cheat my skies sometimes if I'm feeling a bit lazy. Make this blue and this one red. And I actually want that the other way. Maybe I shouldn't have. Oh. So from here, I just kind of mess with the sky a little bit. And then, okay, so I'm gonna add another tree. I think another tree would look good. You know, I could add a monkey, why not? Let me just... Oop. Tree's fine, I guess. Let me add... monkey. Where should I put the monkey? Let's see if I can do that. I have oh, actually. There. Oh, yeah. That's exactly what I was gonna do, was clone the texture over. So, okay, fun way to do that is actually, in the shading, you're able to do that, where you could just select all the textures, Control C, go to the monkey, Control v, new, then Control V, and then just delete. Hopefully, this. And wow, that is cursed. Oh my god. I for some reason thought that was gonna work. I fully thought that was gonna work for some reason. So the where did the head go? It might be texture mapped to the Buddha head, so probably changing the scale and the shape entirely screwed with the textures, which I really don't like seeing that monkey with part of a Buddha. It's part of a Buddha eye there, but actually, let's see if I could change it. Mapping vector. And then this. Oh. So yeah, it is pre-mapped to the Buddha head. So I think it's just trying to take up space. Oh god. Why is it green? I feel like we need something in the middle here. Let's see. You know what? Let's add a little, let's make this a little bit more interesting. So what's now nice about kind of having the fixed camera angle is you're able to warp reality in the way you want it. So for kind of like these standstill shots, you could kind of see, well, these were originally just kind of floating off doing nothing. Yeah, I won't mess with that. If I want, I can kind of like forcefully shove a mountain range in where there's not supposed to be one. So do that there, maybe. I thought that was gonna do something. Guess it didn't. Not that. This. Duplicate that. Have that here, maybe. Change more layering around. Maybe that'll look good. Doesn't look great. But it's not bad. I will say what's nice about having kind of this particle system as using it for texturing the ground is you're able to pretty easily hot swap what object you want connected to it. So let me grab something random. That did that import? There we go. No, it didn't. What? Something there. Something is there. Oh my. Oh, it's all connected. Okay, that's pretty cool. I do like that idea a little bit better than the monkey and the Buddha head. Having it kind of as a stone statue like that. Wait. Wait, what? Did, um. Okay, they're connected. Why? Why was that? What the heck? if you don't have like a specific kind of texture in mind, you can go to this materials property for an object. So I'm gonna use the monkey as an example and just flat out change the color to like whatever you kind of want. You could make it more metallic, uh, how rough it is. Basically, there's a lot to change in kind of Blender settings. A lot of tweaking you can do. Uh, I'd say let's add maybe.
The trouble with you is, you don't seem to understand what love is really about. You young punks go to the movies a couple of times, do a little necking, and you think you're in love. I've never seen anything like it.
Let's do this. Shading. I'm gonna grab.
It's nothing like the slush they give you in the movies.
That wasn't anything. Oh, you know what? Right here.
How can you tell what you really Well, I'll have to think about that.
Now I'm getting very Minecraft world generation vibes from this, and I'm very happy with that, I'd say. Actually,
So don't forget that you are stardust.
that's great. I love that. I love all the little monkeys embedded everywhere. I could definitely try. So okay, I'm getting camera's not having fun. Uh, animating. Oh wait, no. You know what? It might be possible. I'll tell you what it would not. be elegant. I'm to animate it blinking, you would need to rig it with bones and armature. Been trying to work with that recently. It's been a little bit of a pain, but normally what you just do is you'd add a armature, which will will spawn in this bone joint. From there you can like make more bones. I'm still trying to learn how the bones will attach to what it wants, but in theory you'll have like the main bone in the head, and then you'll have two going out to the eyes, and I think you'll have a few kind of creating the two, what are they called, eyelids, and you just Blender will works on kind of like a frame by frame timeline. So I don't remember if it comes with a timeline by default, but if I do remember correctly, you're able to kind of set key points for the kind of the camera to follow. So how do I add in a keyframe? So it's okay. I don't fully remember how to animate. In theory, you should be able to set down keyframes. You can move where it needs to go. Set another keyframe. And then usually when you hit play, it will kind of do a follow through. So that will be the same with kind of the eyes. I don't remember how the animating works. It's been quite a few years since I fully animated something on Blender. But let's see. I know I kind of like sped through a lot of what I was saying pretty fast, and it was kind of sporadic everywhere. So, oh my god. Why is it doing that? I've never seen that happen. But if anyone kind of has any questions on how I did certain stuff, I could definitely go over it, just because I realized I was talking pretty fast. Otherwise, I will be most like, oh my god. That I don't know what's causing that, so that one I can't do anything. If you also have that problem of it duplicating objects is making everything move. That tree is just dead. I'm guessing it's something to do with. Ooh. Definitely has something to do with these lines. fill out some more foliage. Golden monkey, indeed. Oh, they're just really small. Let's add in one more, maybe some orchard grass. Oh, that's taking a toll on my computer. Maybe not. Ooh. Um, it's too close. Pretty good. I won't lie. With this. Oh, that's why it's lagging. Okay. I think I need another golden monkey on top of this, like, distant hill. I feel like that would look good. Why is everything connected? So that's new. Um, hey, what? go. That the same material. How does this look? Not far enough. Oh, this is where I could add in focal length, depth of field. Focus on the monkey. This is where I'd also say, organize your scene over here so this doesn't happen. I was not prioritizing that. And now everything moves when I move one thing, so yeah, fun. Let's see how does this. Oh, I won't know, I guess. Let me quickly save this. I'm curious how this will look. I think it's crashing. Aha! Amazing. I did save. I saved right before I tried to render it. Thankfully. Let's shade smooth that and shade smooth that. Oh, don't shade smooth the monkey. Not a good idea. Okay, what about the other one? Sadly, bigger renders tend to have this problem, is what I've found recently. Oh. It did render though. Why does it look like it ate a lemon? I don't like that. I don't like that it looks like it ate a lemon. Control Z, do that. I wonder, can I make this look like... Oh, well, that... Oh. I feel like I've dreamt of this land. the land of just monkey heads. Golden monkey heads. I think this is becoming more than my computer can start to handle. I fear. I'd say that's also another thing to be careful of is duplicating everything because it creates for like more complicated stuff like this tree for example, duplicating will cause a lot more lag and a lot higher chance of crashing. There is a proper way to like duplicate items without it copying over every single trait. I don't remember how to do that. But that is a fair warning is duplicating too much will cause stuff to start to lag out. Um oh. Oh no, we're good. What an amazing landscape. Oh. Oh, it's all purple? Oh, do you have an HDRI downloaded? You might want to. That might be the reason why it's being purple. So actually, let's see if I can. grab one of mine. Uh, this should be small enough for Discord, right? Nope. Okay. Well, oh well. Yeah, the sky, everything can turn purple sometimes when you don't have an HDRI. Uh, that's not, or if you just delete the HDRI like config out of, well, out of here and then not actually have anything in it. So if it was just the world output. So I think if I do this, there we go. Yeah, so this turns everything black basically. So okay, I can see now. Uh, I think the default. I don't remember what the default one was. It may have been just like the background one that will work, and then you're able to customly add in lighting. Uh, I guess actually, if anyone wants to just the my chair's stuck. If you want to do the request to be a speaker and then share your screen, I should be able to help. And or if anyone wants to just come up and chat. Uh, yep. I see. Let me. How do I? Oh, this environment texture or yeah, environment texture, I believe, or environmental texture, something, something like that. Yeah, but that one you'd have to like fill in a picture, HDRI, something like that. Yeah, that you might need to add in the like the simulated light, which can definitely be very finicky, I will say. Oh, that's good. Uh, the lag is real. Amazing. Here, let me browse on SketchFab. something random to put in the center of all this. Why not? Oh, there's a shop. Let's see what 3D scans there are. Does I don't know what sci-fi box this is. I don't know what this is from, but if I can use it, I'm going to. Ah, there it is. Download 3D model. The anime girl? Oh, this one? Oh, there's 4 people, at least in the Discord. Do I use it or not? I need to vote. I don't know. That's 2 people for yes on that. I'll do both of them. I'll do both of them. So I would generally use I'd use the actually this is a very good question of what I would use to import. Okay, the GLB GLTF should generally work. I'll do the higher res one, and oh, is this a? I have to buy this cat. No, perfect. And then here. I'll move that off. Assets, characters. I'll move the two of them in there. And now to add them in. I'll add them in one at a time. In fear this might break. Oh god, the lag. Oh, it's tiny. Ah, what more of a fever dream. Oh. I don't know how to feel about this render. It is surely brave. Here, let me save this. Why not? Untitled PNG. It does not deserve a name. Where's all the foliage? I just realized. What? I don't know. I'm not sure where it just gone. They dropped down the density so I could add more to it. Grow it up. Ah, that's what I forgot. That's what I didn't do. Oh, the foliage. There we go. And let's add some effects. Let's add some noise texture. Bring that down about halfway. Turn this one gray. And some height. Just throw that there. Let's give some height on this one. Oh, that's what you were put root in? I kept it untitled because I know I was gonna add more. So I was waiting to name it. What, there was no grass. Call it Paradise? I'll call it Paradise, why not? If it look well, once it's done crashing, I'll call it Paradise. What was it? Save at? Save as. There we go. Play monkey. It's tripping me out that the mountain is like faded in the distance, and then monkey. You know what? I think for one of these Blender Blast nights, I'm gonna just have people try to make the most cursed thing in like an hour, and then we can just like look at them. I feel like that would be a fun one. Just come up with the most cursed renders. Okay, that's pretty cool. Oh, I'm moving stuff. That is true. If you do put a light source there, you can. Ah. Because I don't remember. I don't remember what I was doing that used something like that. Yeah, let's see. Okay, if you want egg for like that sun, I kind of did something similar that way with. Wait, what did I? Oh yeah, I used no emissions. So if the circle you have, I'm guessing it's a sphere based off the fact that it's shaded, maybe. If you make it an emissions object, you're able to. Oh, okay, it's an actual. Oh, I see. Here, so what I did, what I would recommend trying as well, is taking like a sphere and what did I add to it? That's right. I added a materials that was just like a yellow and made the surface emissions. So it reacts kind of with the world in a sense, giving off like shadows. That's fair. Let's see. I have. Where did? I don't know. I'm trying to. Wait. Oh, okay. This is. Oh, it's not lag. Oh, that's right. Okay. What just happened? Oh, that's right. That was for that. Actually. Oh, of course. It is kind of wrapping up towards the end. It is almost 7. Hopefully I'm able to do more of these. I guess since it is close to wrapping it up, I don't really have much more to go over. I really need to think more on more. I mean, I guess if there's any suggestions of what you want to see for like another one of these, I'll probably make a channel for it, and just so I kind of have a lineup of what tutorials people may want to see on. Otherwise, I think I will be wrapping this up because I don't know how much what to talk about more on. I'm sorry that this was kind of scuffed the whole time through though. I'm not used to teaching Blender, but I did have like something I wrote down and it was not enough. That's true. It's alright. I will say the VOD, as messy as it's gonna be, is going to be up on my Twitch for a little bit. I might. Maybe not. Yeah, the VOD should be up. Yeah, I know. It should be up for a bit. I might save it and put it up somewhere if people do want to see it, but yeah, so the VOD should be up there if you do want to go over and follow along with it. But I think that will be it, at least for tonight. Oh my, I did not expect that. Thank you. Well, okay, wow. But that's the first Prime sub I've gotten, so that's pretty cool. Fair enough. But yeah, I think I will be wrapping it up for at least this one this week. Hopefully y'all enjoyed learning kind of how to build environmental terrains. Hopefully it was adequate. I could go over a little bit more detail another time if people want, so I really don't know. So, but yeah. I'll switch to my ending soon. I guess yeah. I really don't know much more to say. I guess the next one may be a little different. I don't know, Sean, if you want to talk about that at all, but or if that's happening. Not to throw you under the bus, but more news will come out for the next session, as I will not be here for that. But Sean may throw something together. So, uh, yeah. I guess thank you all for coming.